Hi, I'm Avery Amundsen, and I have a smooth brain.
Smooth brain?
Smooth brain, no wrinkles in there.
Okay.
No wrinkles for thoughts.
Oh, I'm Tony Leap. I have a very wrinkled brain.
And we love things that are red. Our guest today is Kyle Hansen. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so great to have you here. All right, Kyle, what is your red thing that you have for us today?
My red thing, after much consternation, are the beautiful cliffs of Zion National Park in southwest Utah.
The Utah Red Rocks. Tell us about them. When did you see them? How are they in your heart?
I wanted to see them forever, but I saw them for the first time in 2018 when I participated in my first ultra marathon.
Gross.
It's fair.
You're going to need to leave now, man. You're making us look.
Okay, what's an ultra marathon compared to a regular? I know you and Kelsey are runners. That is
Sure.
as close as I am to the running community.
I don't know that I knew exactly what an ultra marathon was, either when I signed up to train for it or when I participated. But ultimately, it's anything in excess of a traditional 26-mile marathon.
And so how long was your marathon?
It was 50 kilometers, which I think
Okay,
converts roughly to exactly right to 32 miles. But I was less concerned about that and more concerned about the terrain, since we live here in Iowa where it's nice and flat generally. Maybe some rolling
Historically,
hills,
yeah.
but nothing like that. So that was more of a concern than the distance. We knew there was going to be some power hikes and some potential walking involved.
Wild. Was that your first trail run?
It was maybe one preparatory, but it was something where I'd gotten a little fed up with doing some of the crowdy Des Moines Marathon, dam to dams,
so
and just
basic.
wanted a little bit of elbow room. So, for example, you can imagine over 50 kilometers with 300 participants as opposed to 15,000 runners for something like a dam to dam. You get a little bit of alone time with yourself, which is what lured me to it.
What? So how do you run? Do you run with music? Do you run with your thoughts? How do you feel? How's your body?
I prefer music.
How is your body, Kyle?
Do you have to wear diapers?
No, but
Do other people?
There
Sorry,
was
I'm interrupting.
certainly some nature involved.
True.
Yeah, prefer music, but I'll be honest, with the terrain that I wasn't familiar for, you have to kind of be aware of your surroundings. There is an opportunity for something of this size and this landscape, which you want to enjoy the landscape as
Yeah.
well. That was the whole point, not to take a wrong turn.
Do people get lost?
People get lost. I got
in the
lost with
ultramar-
a group.
Oh, so you're with a group.
I did
Loosely.
organically.
Sure. Yeah. Just your running pod.
Or organically, yes. You follow little ribbons tied to bushes, trees, what have you. And if you don't see a ribbon for a while, the rule is
You're
to go
lost.
backwards until you see one. And then
Okay.
go forward when you see another one.
So this seems like a place where hallucinations could happen. So, like, did you come away with some sort of, you're like, yeah, mile 28 and a half.
Yeah, I communed with the nature spirit.
What-
And I
What did
know
you learn,
things.
dude? What came out of it?
It's a good question. I would say, how can we kill two birds with one stone? So I always wanted to go to Zion National Park. I knew I wanted to do some alternative running activities, be one with nature, and I got to do both. We made it a vacation. We got to hike a little bit after the fact, but definitely enjoyed some of the solitude that came with seeing the beautiful landscape.
Who's we?
Who's we? Me and my family. My family came to support me.
I love that. But
Yeah.
you were the only one running.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when because of the landscape, there's very few places where they can actually check in with you.
Sure.
So I was probably 24 miles in before I saw their beautiful faces.
That is crazy to me. 20, even just like you're saying 24 miles. I'm like, what?
So yeah, the look of shock and awe, that I had a smile still on my face by the time I saw them. It was jaws on the floor, but it was certainly helpful for the home stretch.
Does the scenery like impact Like, how did you feel when you were running? You're like, this is beauty. This is life.
Yeah.
Or were you like,
I'm still in pain.
One step at a time?
No, it's a humbling experience, right? You're going to have to stop and eat a sandwich. You're not worried necessarily so much about breaking
Right.
a PR or per se. And it wasn't that long in, especially you experience a sunrise, right? They sent us out at night. So at that point, you kind of have to say, we're just going to need to enjoy this a little bit.
It's an
And it's going to
experience.
be a
Yeah.
different deal. And that's okay. And that's what makes it awesome.
I love that.
So what? Oh, that's cool. Like, what mile were you on when the sun came up?
We were going up a plateau around mile 4.5, which was essentially walking upstairs.
Your memory, I would not know.
And and about half the race was up on the top of the plateau, but it's obviously the most annoying portion of the experience. That again, being in Iowa, not a lot of elevation. So getting up there, catching your breath, nourishing, and experiencing that was really enjoyable.
Wild, man. Wild. So I found a photographer's review of their time in the national park and the Red Rocks. I want to read it to you, and I want you to tell me if you
Okay.
felt these exact emotions. So, amazing Red Rocks. How does one keep from falling in love with Utah's Red Rocks? This trip, we did not have time to hike here, but even driving through the canyon is a thrill. Looking up at these magnificent rocks, each different from the last, one can hardly take it all in. Just keep shooting photos at every crook and turn. No bad shots. If given the time, the lodge is very nice, and a riverside walk is a must. Younger folks and those in terrific shape should hike in the Narrows or climb to Angel's Landing. It's all gorgeous.
Wow. I couldn't agree more. No, I'm not kidding. And photos, especially from the ground, don't do it justice. So in terms of getting parking and just being in awe of what's around you, your photos kind of seem at some point like they all look the same.
Sure.
But to you, it's
You're like, no, that was the
it's a
special-
unique experience.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right for the hiking to Angel Landing specifically. So if you Google, which maybe you already have, Zion National Park, the majority of the jaw-dropping photos are from Angel's Landing, which is a challenging and treacherous hike. I believe 18 people have passed away attempting it.
That is nuts, man.
But that's the only way to get a panoramic view of the park that really shows the magnitude of what transpired there to make it so beautiful, because it's lush too, right?
Yeah.
It is.
These
It's red,
photos.
but it is lush, which I think makes it especially.
Yeah, because
unique.
normally because otherwise it would be like Mars almost.
Yes,
Because I go to Mars.
Bryce Canyon, about 2 hours from there, is very Marsy.
Cool. That is crazy.
Is there any risk of you like being tired and falling off of like any of these cliffs?
There are, yeah. I regretted putting sunscreen on my hands because at times to climb the spine, there you're holding on to a chain, man-made rope to keep you
so
on the
then you're just,
narrow
like,
spine.
slipping.
It was a little slipping, so we did we checked in with ourselves when we got there. Got some good photos I'll share with you here after.
Yes.
And then very carefully climb back down.
How many trail runs have you done? And how many trail runs have you done with Kelsey? Because I know of one.
Sure.
Tell
And
me.
it's difficult to convert someone, by the way.
Tell me about it.
Why is she like a hardcore like traditional marathon person?
No doubt. Yeah, very well. Aren't most people? I mean, how do you fall into Crazy Town and go out in the middle of the desert with?
See, that sounds way better to me. I only run alone, and I never time myself. And it's like,
Sure.
I can't believe people want to do it the other way.
Where you want to run in groups on
Where you're
time?
checking your watch every 12 seconds. You're like, heart rate. And then they're like, it's like, well, what's the point? Then you just missed the point.
It's a good point. But it is sort of a community sport.
Yeah.
And maybe I never sort of fit the community, but so I was quick to move into maybe this smaller
Sure.
sort of edge community. So yeah, my wife and anyone else I've explained it to, even though they love the photos. I think it looks
Oh,
like a
I
great
mean, yeah,
experience.
it's iconic.
It's a tough convert to go from a flat traditional well-marked route to a untraditional foreign environment where you're going to have to think and watch your step along the way and maybe deal with some other environmental factors. But anyone I've converted never goes back.
There was another point that you mentioned that I think was so I've run for 20 years, but I've never considered myself a runner. There's kind of like a running tribe, pack, community thing that somehow is like, I don't know, that feels impenetrable because I don't know. Maybe talk a little bit about like what part of that you're like, that's cool. That's not an anti-runner community thing, but like my world's going to be a little bit further out.
That's a really good point. Well, I didn't plan to be a runner. I had my thumb dislocated late in college, and it was going to be a long recovery. I didn't know how I was going to exercise. I slowly started jogging, and I did more of it. So I would have been 22, 23 at that point, and never felt like I fully penetrated the runner community or necessarily aligned with, some of the goals and things that transpire there.
You don't consider yourself a runner, Tony.
No.
That surprises me. You put stuff in a backpack to go running, yes?
I run, usually 5 days a week. And I've run
Right.
at least 3 days a week, barring, I think, 2 weeks over the last 20 years.
But you don't consider yourself a runner.
I go into a running store and like, I'm not these people.
Do you?
It's just a different, I'm like clearance rack running shoes and whatever shorts I got.
But is that what makes you a runner? Is your shoes?
So I've only ever run. I'm going to tell my marathon story, and this is part of my why I'm not a runner story. Okay, Travis, who most of us used to work with, we've known each other for years, and he didn't run, and I had always just run kind of at my own pace, and he got way into running. And he's like, "We're going to run a marathon together." And at that point, I had young kids. We didn't have enough money, and I was like, "I'll do the miles, but I'm not paying to stand next to someone and get a T-shirt." Because like it's just like because it's the opposite of again what I
You're
go
like,
for
I
running.
can run 26 miles on my own.
I don't need a pat on the
ceremony.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need like jock jams blaring while I'm running.
Speak for yourself.
I do occasionally like a little jock jams. But so what he had figured out was if you go from the Iowa State Fairgrounds along Grand all the way out to past the interstate in West Des Moines and the turnaround, it's almost exactly a marathon.
Okay.
So there's no risk of getting lost. It's a clear path. If you go down, you can call people, whatever, right? So it's like the day of the race, and he's like, dude, I'm not going.
The race.
The race. It's not even a race. We're just going to run it.
The race.
The
So
buddy
it's just
race.
me alone at the fairgrounds going, I'm just going to do this thing alone. Okay, so I do it, and it's slow, it's ugly. But I didn't want to carry my water the whole way. Mm-hmm. So I found a big, rich South of Grand house and put my water there and figured out that way when I go past the interstate and come back,
It'll still be
it'll
there?
still be there.
No.
So I go and I'm like, it's halfway done. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. So I'm coming back and they yanked my water bottle.
I bet, yes. It's littering their beautiful
Because I'm some
lawn.
weirdo who ran
It's
by their
South
house.
of Grand.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a bomb for all they know.
Right. So then I'm like calling my wife, like, I need Gatorade now. I need something to drink. And I had like those little like sugar,
Sure.
like gummy deals or whatever. So the girls roll up in their minivan. They give me Gatorade, like, Dad's an idiot. He's running alone for 26 months for no reason.
It's race day.
So I down this and they're like, whatever, we got to go back to the house. So it's just me. I have nothing to drink and I have like 12 miles left or whatever, right? And I'm starting to break down, like my mental state starting to go down. And all I have left are these little things. And I figure if I take one every like 8 minutes, that will give me enough to get a reboot.
These like little sugar gummies.
They're like little gummies, yeah. So then I'm sanctioning them out essentially to like, and as soon as I put them out, they come out as straight salt. Like there's no water left in my body, right? So I get to the east side and a train goes by. And my whole rule with Travis, who's the guy I was being very stubborn, is like, I will not stop my feet from moving this whole time. So I'm standing there after like 18 miles, just like death pacing next to a train alone on a class. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to finish this thing, right? But I'm like, it's bad. I'm waiting. It's the longest train. It's not. It's like 5 cars, but I think it's the end of the world.
Didn't plan for an alternative route. if it
No.
stops.
I was like,
sure.
you know, that wouldn't have happened on a actual
An actual court. Right, that's the point. At that point, I'm like, I should have paid the $100 to get the T-shirt
That's
and
what the
the jock
money's
jams.
for, is to get the trains out of the way.
But at that point, I'm like, I'm going to finish. And so I get to the east side and I'm like, I don't think I can do it. And the only thing that made me finish was I love my east side people. They love chihuahuas. And if you run by their fenced yards, those chihuahuas go bananas.
Ankle yappers.
And something in your heart starts to go, I'm going to get, the chihuahuas are coming. And it like rifled me through to finish like the real marathon. So since then, I've just been kind of like skeptical of, but I run a ton. I love running, but it's almost always like, okay, where's the nearest nature spot? Where can I get solitude? And where can I have, an hour to kind of go do that? So it's either, I think I've run around Gray's Lake like almost 2,000 times.
Grace is wonderful.
And then Raccoon River now out here. And then I go behind the art center now. Oh yeah, this sounds, now I'm like kind of want to look into it. I need to see like a budget friendly,
I would love
Nature
for you
run.
to.
but you're young and fast. I don't think it would work.
I would love for you two to do a trail run. Not together, but just the same run. Because it's solitary.
That's true.
And I want to hear your experiences.
I'm open to researching such opportunities. I'd have to
Okay.
convince the family that
Should we circle back on this? Put a pin in it?
there's. I think there are ones in like Wisconsin and stuff. Just
Maybe we create you a Tony decision tree.
oh,
Things I can and cannot accept as part of this new experience for
to
me.
evaluate which trail race is right for you.
And then we evaluate.
that's the
what
most
makes
beautifully
sense.
account person thing I've ever heard.
oh
And
my
I'm a
God.
my
We need
account
to make
showing?
this now. Tony's trail tree.
tree.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
5 questions or less.
I mean, it's got to be usable. If it's not functional, we're never going to use it. This is obviously a tool that we need. Well, thank you for listening to Things That Are Red. This has been a Red Dot Labs production. For more episodes and information, check out red.ad.com and be sure to follow Red Dot Branding and Marketing on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you
Safe,
so much.
safe trails, people.
Happy trails!
Thanks for having me.